Hello, and welcome to Spring Break Today. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated for a moment of silence.
Where Atlantic's mighty waters roll up to the island strand, where the white gardenias blossom mid the hills of golden sand, proudly stands our alma mater, black and gold wave loyally. Ever stand her portals open for all men, both brave and free. And so our songs we bring, evermore her praises sing. Manteo high to thee we cling, shall cling forevermore. And so our songs we bring, evermore her praises sing. Manteo high to thee we cling, shall cling forevermore.
First, let me wish you a great spring break. I'll be going through and grading your outline webbing assignments over the break, but just because I'm working doesn't mean that you will need to work. I will send you an email if you need to make any changes to your thesis sentence or support paragraph topic sentences before you write, but I won't require you to do anything about my notes until we get back. If you do have questions for me, I will be working for at least part of the time, so go ahead and send me an email or ask me on Google Hangouts and I'll try to help you. Today, I'm going to show you a better way to do research for your paper that you'll be able to use when we get back from spring break and begin writing. I'm going to show you how to do advanced searches for and to use effectively academic journals. Let me tell you why you would need to know this, so you know why you're sitting through this boring technical lesson. First, for those of you going to college, this is the kind of research that you will be doing there, and being familiar with this kind of research will give you a head start. Second, knowing how to do advanced searches using Boolean terms will help you to narrow down your search results to a more manageable number of results and probably more useful results. Third, there's a lot of biased information and a lot of logical fallacies presented as factual arguments out there on the internet, and academic journals are less likely to be skewed in these ways. There are rules guiding the writers, and the articles are peer-reviewed before being published, which means that somebody looked them over to make sure that they abide by those rules. It's still always a good idea to get information from multiple sources because nothing in print or on the internet can be trusted 100%. But peer-reviewed articles from academic journals are more likely to be correct and trustworthy. Finally, the Gale database we'll be using has several tools that will make your research much easier than just doing a Google search. I'm only requiring one academic journal, 2 for honors, to be used in the paper. But you know what? I recommend that you do the majority of your research this way, if not all of it. I think you'll find it easier in the long run. Let's get started. First, go to NCWiseOwl. Remember, the password is NCWiseOwl19. Then click on High School. The top right option on the NCWiseOwl page is the Gale in Context High School link. Click on it. We are now in the database. You can see the search bar near the top of the page, but we want to have a few more options to focus our searches, so click on Advanced Search under the search bar. Now, you can see 3 search bars with a drop-down box next to each of them. If you click the drop-down box, you see 3 words, and, or, and not. These are Boolean operators, and they will help you do very powerful searches. I'm going to show you part of a video from YouTube explaining how these work because they do it better than I could, and it's a really cool Prezi that makes your head spin.
Welcome to this video tutorial on using Boolean searches in your library searches. This is a presentation by Kate Cushion, a liaison librarian at the University of Regina. You're probably asking yourself, why should I learn Boolean searching when I can search just fine in Google without it? Well, the answer to that is that Google uses something called natural language searching. Library-based databases and catalogs work a little bit differently. Natural language doesn't work very well in them. So it's important to use Boolean because this allows you to tell the database exactly what you want it to do in the database's language. This helps improve the precision of your searches. It allows you to form complex multi-part search strategies, and it will just allow you to have more sophisticated searching techniques. Most importantly, though, it helps you find exactly what you are looking for and find it faster. So let's take a look at some of the common Boolean operators. Now, if you don't know what that means, Boolean operators are words that you use to connect your search terms. The most common Boolean operators are or, and not. So let's take a look at OR and how that functions in your searches. Connecting terms using OR retrieves items that contain either or both terms. OR expands and broadens your search so that you get more results. It's excellent for synonymous terms, that is, terms that have same or similar meaning, but they are different words. So for example, education or teaching. This will retrieve all of the results that contain education, that contain teaching, and that contain both. It's also excellent for when you don't absolutely need both ideas, when one or the other is adequate for your research. So for example, novel or fiction. This is a nice broad search to get you started if your research is in this vein. AND functions in almost the opposite way. Connecting terms using AND retrieves items that contain both terms. Using AND between your terms narrows your search and you get fewer results. AND is excellent for connecting unrelated terms that are both important to your research. For example, gender and fiction will retrieve results that contain only both terms. Not is the final operator we're going to be looking at today. Connecting terms with not retrieves items that contain the first term and excludes items that also contain the second term. This is excellent for reducing irrelevant results. So for example, if you're researching religion but you're not interested in items on Christianity, this is a good search to use because that way you're retrieving everything that includes religion, but you are excluding everything that also contains Christianity. Now you do need to be careful with this because some of the results that include Christianity will be important to you, but this is a good start. Phrase searching is another important tool for searching. This searches for all of the terms in the order you enter them. It's excellent for titles, famous quotations, and any terms that you need connected in the order that you enter them. You use parentheses or quotation marks to indicate a phrase search. So for example, if you're searching for Catcher in the Rye, entered just like that, it's going to retrieve something that looks like this. This is not a very precise search. You're going to get a lot of irrelevant search results based on this kind of entry into the database. Instead, if you search for something like this, Catcher in the Rye with parentheses or quotation marks, it's going to retrieve the exact title that you're looking for. So whether to use parentheses or quotation marks is something that you need to look in the database's help or tips page for. There's usually a link to the help or tips page near the search bar. Truncation and wildcard are two more important tools. So let's look at truncation. The truncation symbol in most databases is usually a star or a question mark, but it can be other symbols. Again, consult the tips or help page to determine which one the database expects. Sometimes the symbol replaces one letter, sometimes it replaces multiple or even infinite letters. So again, you'll want to look at the tips or help page to determine what the database is going to do. This is excellent for searching for related words that start with the same letters. So for example, entering in spirit with a question mark or star will retrieve spirit, spirits, spiritual, etc., etc. Wildcard is a slightly different tool. This replaces letters within a word. So for example, if you enter in the term that I have as an example here, it retrieves woman or women. As with truncation, different databases use different symbols if wildcards are supported at all in that database. So be sure you're looking in the tips or help page to determine whether or not wildcard.
Okay, so now you see how these Boolean operators let you really focus your searches to get the best results and cut down the time you spend looking through sources that don't help you. I'm going to do a search on a topic several of you chose, the benefits of video games. In the first box, I will put video games. But as you saw in the video, just putting the two words in the box by themselves we'll end up with a lot of useless results. It takes them as the word video and the word games, not video games. So to get it a little more accurate, we're going to put quotes around it. So it'll search as a phrase. We'll use the Boolean operator and then put benefits in the second box. So that will look for every source that has both video games and benefits in it, both of them together. Now, I'll put the word physical. We'll keep the Boolean and put physical for the third. All right, now before we do our search, though, oops, I just added a row. We don't need it. But if you did, you could add another row. Before we do our search, come down here and click peer-reviewed journals. That's the ones I was telling you about that they're looked over by experts in whatever field it is and kind of vetted. We don't need the one for images. Just so you know, I don't know that anybody will need this on this paper, but if you need to, you can click for articles and reports generated before a certain day, on a certain day, if you're looking for something in history, after a certain day, if you want newer articles, or between, you just want stuff that happened in 1985, say. But we want all dates. That's fine. Okay. We're ready, so click search. And our search returned 4 academic journals. That's manageable. We can handle that. It's much better than the hundreds of thousands of hits usually returned in a Google search. Only 3 are displayed on this page, so click on academic journals to show all 4. Okay, so this is what we got. And these are probably going to be, they don't always come back useful, but you got a better chance than wading through the swamp of Google. And these are more dependable too. Now, look at the first entry. Better gaming for seniors. Several details are given before you even click on it. You can see in the boxes here. It's from October 2012, so it's not that old. It's 345 words, a brief article indeed. That's really short, so it may not have anything we could use. And it's at Lexile 1320. So there's also a little summary. Video games that come close to actual physical games, such as Wii Sports, continue to fly off the shelves in spite of its popularity. However, the increasingly complex gaming technology may alienate certain segments. Well, that doesn't sound promising. It doesn't say anything about health results, but it's short. Let's look at it, see if there's anything we can use. Okay. First thing you notice is that it highlights occurrences of every one of our key terms from the search. So it's easy to find. I'm looking for benefits, so I'm just going to skim. And, okay, there are ways a game develops to increase the benefits for seniors, reducing the physical. Not so much. But seniors being, it turns out, McLaughlin said that certain types of games have clear benefits for improved cognitive performance, increased social interaction, feelings of success, achievement, self-esteem. Well, that lists some actual benefits. That's probably something that we can use. Improve cognitive performance, that's an intellectual benefit. Increase social interaction, it's a social benefit. Feelings of success, achievement, self-esteem, that's an emotional or psychological benefit. There's nothing physical there, but there are 3 different categories of benefits. Maybe I had planned on using physical, psychological, and intellectual benefits. Those are my 3 supports. And I hadn't even thought about emotional benefits or social benefits, whatever. Well, now I'm going to remember there's a category I hadn't thought about that I might be able to use. So if I don't find anything about intellectual benefits, but I find several things about social benefits or emotional benefits, I can switch out one of my supports. Writing is recursive. The more you research, the more you learn, the more you can refine your supports or even refine your thesis sentence and write better and think better. That's part of the value of going through this process. It really does teach you how to think better, how to write better. All right, the third occurrence of the word benefits just refers to the ones in the previous sentence. So I want to use the second one. Now, here's where doing your research in the database helps you with some cool tools. Highlight the sentence or sentences you want to use as evidence in your paper. Where does it start? Start here. Highlight them, and immediately you see a box pop up that allows you to highlight, make notes, or define a word in the passage in the dictionary if you need to. If you're not sure if the passage is useful because you don't know what a word is, you can look it up. There's the define, it's a dictionary. We want to highlight, so click highlight, pick a color. I'll just do kind of default yellow. All right, I can still do a note just for the heck of it. Let's do a note. Remember social benefits as a category. And save it. Okay. Now, that seems to be all we can get from this source, but we may want to look it over again later. So here's another cool tool. Go back up to the top up here and click Send To. Then click Google Drive. And a little message says, documents have been sent to Google Drive and will appear shortly. All right. Be ready to be wowed. Click the OK to get rid of it. Now go to your Google Drive and boom. There is a Gale in Context High School folder, and it's even orange, so you can find it easy. When you look in there, there is our article. Even better, click on the article, and there is our highlight. It kept the highlight when it imported it. And even better, if you go down to the bottom, look at this. There is our source entry in MLA 8th edition format. So you can just copy and paste that in your paper. This does so much for you. You have a separate folder, so all of your research, you can go back and look it over again. Was there something else in that source that I could use? I need something, whatever. But this does a lot of the work for you. All right. Let's go back to Gale and back up to the list of articles. So back up. Let's look over the second one. Exercise intensity in children with cerebral palsy while playing with active video game console. That sounds like physical. Let's look at the details. It's from August 2013, a little newer than the last one. 5,580 words. That's a big one, and it's a report. So it's going to be a study, a scientific social science study, and it's at 1660 Lexile, that's pretty high. All right, the summary. Children with cerebral palsy are prone to secondary complication related to physical activity, inactivity, and cardiorespiratory capacity. Prone to be greatly attenuated through the use of video. Well, I don't know. It's hard to tell anything from that summary. So let's click in. All right. Now, just looking at it. Boom, 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 boom. It's like, good gracious, that's a lot of words. That's way too much to go through. I'm going to help you cut to the chase on these. You do not have to read all of this. A lot of this, if you go to college, depending on what you study, you may have to learn how to do all this. Take statistics, learn how to do the setup and do these scientific studies. But it's quite possible that you won't have to do that too. It's more for grad school, I guess, really. But some of y'all are probably going to end up in grad school. So know that it's here. But for our uses right now, you don't need all this. A lot of the stuff at the beginning, the background of the subjects, the study subjects, you don't need that. The design of the experiment, the objective, the methodology used, even the raw data and the results are not probably going to be of much use to you. So scroll down past all of that, past all of that, past all of that. Data analysis, role of the funding source, results. There's a lot of numbers, a lot of yada yada. Here is where it starts getting interesting. Discussion. Discussion, and then the very last, conclusion. Those are the two that might give you some stuff that you could use for your paper. So let's look at discussion first. Let's look for keywords. Here's physical. Systems such as the weak could be used as an adjunct therapeutic tool to increase the amount of physical activity in children with CP. Maybe. That I might be able to use that. It's not great, but let's highlight it because you never know. We may need it. I don't need a note. Okay, where's another one? Okay, here's several physical. I'm not going to go deeply into this, but you see the sentence this is in has a parenthetical reference after it. That means that this information is from their research from somebody else, and they're giving credit to somebody else. Same with this. Most of this has parenthetical references. If it does, that's somebody else's work. Now, it is possible to cite somebody else's work in somebody else's work in your paper, but that's getting really complicated, and you probably won't need to go there. Now, if you find the perfect support, the perfect evidence, the perfect quote, and it is from somewhere else, contact me on Google Hangouts, and I'll walk you through it step by step. But it's a lot of work, and for now, let's just skip it. Instead, I don't see anything there. Okay, so let's just jump down to the conclusion. I'm skimming, use of bicycle, jogging, increased amount of physical activity, low cost, safe, readily available, efficient tool, improve the health, motor limitations like such CP, proper supervision tool, complement the effort of clinicians to increase daily physical activities. Yeah, all that. Further studies would show we don't need that. I'll also be interested to evaluate, we don't need that. But the rest of this, probably all of that down to further studies, could be useful. So let's highlight it. Boom. Okay. Before we send this article to our Google Drive, though, let me show you something else you might use someday. Okay, all the way down to the bottom, past all the references, past all the addenda and the data and yada yada. Right down to the bottom, there's a little gray box with the source citation in it. You can, if you like, by clicking this button, send just this citation to the Google Drive. But you don't need to do that. For one, it's already on the article that we will send the whole thing to our Google Drive. But also I'm going to show you another cool trick in just a sec. Okay. Up here you see MLA 8th edition. That's what you're using in my English class. But a lot of you, if you go into other fields, you may use APA, you may use Chicago. Know that you can switch these around. Not all databases work exactly like this, but they all are similar. You'll have these options, and maybe in different places or something, you'll have those options to shift. But make sure we're using MLA, so make sure you stick with MLA. Go back up to, well, actually we can do it from here. We're going to send this to Google Drive. And just to show you, go back to the Google Drive, go to the Galen Context High School. Now we got both. And our highlights are down toward the bottom. There's one. Oh, wait. Where's the other one? Did I do the other one? Hold on, let's do that again. I must not have gotten the other one. Okay, let's delete this. Go back. Oh, yeah, I didn't finish the highlight, I guess. Boom. Okay, now let's send it to Google Drive. And there it is. And see if we got both of them this time. Yes, got both of them. And at the bottom, boy, that's a lot of references. At the bottom, again, you've got the source entry for your works cited page, and those are the two quotes. All right. Got one final cool thing to show you. Let's go back to Gale. Up at the top right, you see highlights and notes. Click on that. Then click View All Highlights and Notes. Okay, on this, you see the highlights we did on the first article, and then on the second one, the report. Got both of them. We've got both source entries, everything that we need. So with this document, when you're building your paper, all you got to do is copy whichever quote you want, put it in your paper, copy whichever source entry you want, put it in your paper. You can put as many on here as you want. I just did those 2, but the more you do, the more it'll add. So I'm going to pretend like I've done, a lot more. Send this to Google Drive. Boom. I go over to my Google Drive, and there it is. So useful. So useful. Save you a lot of time. Okay, so that is your tutorial on how to do research for your essay. If you still owe me anything on the paper, some of you still owe me the thesis sentence, catch up. We're going to start writing when we get back to school after spring break. But everybody, take it easy over spring break. Be smart, follow the guidelines, but relax and enjoy your time off. We're almost there. I miss seeing you guys, so have fun, stay safe, and come back to me a week from Monday, happy and healthy.